Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. For this video I wanted to do a bit of clothing design, and this is really me just harking back to my childhood when I had a book. It was very similar to this one, but it was Japanese and it had 4 figures on each page, as in 2 and 2, and it was figures that you could draw clothes onto, design clothes. And this book was all the rage at my school. I think quite a lot of the girls had a book, had one of these, and I particularly was obsessed with it and obsessed with designing clothes. And I thought about it the other day and decided that I would buy a figure template book and I would do a video for you. Now I'm slightly less imaginative than I used to be, so I have enlisted the trusty help of the internet to give me some inspiration for the clothes. And I have already started on one design, which was inspired by a piece by John Galliano, if I can find it. Aha. So this piece is inspired by one of his, and I'll put the picture up so you can see. And I am essentially using some old artist pens, and because these pens are about 30 years old, half of them have dried up and the other half are not the most ideal colours. So this design in particular was inspired by John Galliano. I would say it is quite a poor copy. In the picture, the clothing is much darker on the blazer and the skirt is white. So this is a little bit far off, but still it was fun to do. So I thought we could do another one together, also inspired by the great John Galliano. This time a piece he did for a Dior collection. I don't know an awful lot about fashion. I'm not a fashion student. I never studied it. I don't work in the industry. I hardly have any skill for art nowadays. It's just something that is a little bit of a hobby from time to time. But I watched a documentary on John Galliano on Netflix. I believe it was called High and Low, and I just was mesmerised by the pieces that he made. So I don't know many fashion designers, but I know him and I like his stuff. So I should also preface by saying my microphone might pick up some background noise for fireworks that are taking place. I wanted to wait to do this video once the fireworks had stopped, but I also realised that in the UK, around this time of year, is a holiday that we celebrate called Guy Fawkes Night, also known as Bonfire Night, also known as Fireworks Night. and it's on the 5th of November, but because the 5th is a weekday, it means that sometimes people celebrate it on the weekend before or after, which means that we get about a week's worth of fireworks. People pick and choosing when they're gonna do the fireworks. So I essentially felt like I wasn't going to be able to escape it. So you might get the odd fireworks sound appearing in this video, but I hope it's not too much of a bother and is actually quite soothing. But we'll only be able to tell once I watch this back. Okay, so on the model next to our one already done, we will do a bit of John Galliano style piece. Now, again, I will get the picture up of what I'm looking at. But it is a green suit, or two-piece. And when I did the first one, I realised that I find it quite hard to draw and talk at the same time, so there may be times in this video where I go a little bit quiet. Just going to move my pens. So if I don't talk for a period of time, just know that I'm really concentrating. I'm not sure what you call this kind of hat. This looks like a military hat. Now I'm going to do this back to front because our model is more angled this way. So you can really hear the fireworks now. I'm not sure if it's picking up for you. But I can certainly hear them. Do people in other countries have this kind of holiday? Where you celebrate the fact that your king was not murdered? Probably should explain that Bonfire Night, or Guy Fawkes Night, is a celebration of the fact that the king was not blown up about 400 or 500 years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but it was in the 1600s, I think. a group of men spearheaded by a man called Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament at a time when the king was visiting. But the gunpowder plot, was found out and the king survived. So we celebrate that. And we do these bonfires, which you could say is to symbolise the possible blowing up of the House of Parliament, but I think a lot of people burn Guy Fawkes actually, which is quite interesting. Guy Fawkes was a Protestant, I believe, and the king at the time was a Catholic. So I think it was a religiously led. We have a lot of that in the UK and in Ireland. Protestants versus Catholics, especially during that time. Mary I, Elizabeth I. There's a lot of Protestants trying to kill Catholics and Catholics trying to kill Protestants. I believe that's why she's called Bloody Mary. Mary I is because of propaganda released during Queen Elizabeth's reign to make her half-sister look bad. But I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they've since found out that Elizabeth killed just as many people as Mary, if not more. I think a lot of people thought Mary was quite mad as well, but again, I gather this was propaganda from Elizabeth's reign. There we go. Now, to colour this in, the first thing I'm going to start with is actually this stripe down the leg, which is a sort of reddish colour. Oh, that's a lovely strong pink. I love that. A little bit off from the picture. Probably more pinky than reddy. Maybe we can mix it with this other colour. do the dark green trousers. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any greens that are dark enough. So it will be a little bit of an experiment. But I will lay them all out so you can see. And hopefully the decision I make was in line with what you think. Ooh. Now, the top is a lighter colour. It's more similar to these two. So we'll keep these two for the top. For the trousers, we almost wanted an earthy green, but neither of these quite do that. These feel a little bit too fluorescent, even though they look a little bit darker than this one, but I like the more muted tone of this, so I'm going to go with this one. Put these to the side for now. Oh no. As I said, some of these pens are, well, all of the pens are 30 years old. As you can see from the very faint colouring in of this one. I have to try another green. The green I didn't like. Oh, that's better. I think it all sort of depends how they've been stored and looked after. I must have gone awfully quiet again, I'm sorry. Too much focusing on getting the colour around these fingers. I wonder, is it getting wintry where you are? For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere. Those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, you must be getting the first signs of summer. I have family in Australia and I went to visit them almost a year ago, around December, January time. And it's so strange as a English person going somewhere where it is warm at Christmas. It's a very bizarre feeling. It was nice though. It's a different experience. I know some Aussies really cherish that. But I think whatever you're used to, right? I'm quite used to cold, wintry Christmases where sometimes snows and you have hot chocolate and you sit by the fire and go carol singing and some people go to the beach and they have a barbecue and they eat shrimp and they eat pavlova. Some people being my family in Australia. Bizarrely, they still have a lot of the same food that we have at Christmas. I don't know if this is a thing for people across Australia, but my family would still have turkey, roast potatoes, Christmas pudding, which is perhaps the stodgiest dessert possible. And what else would they have? Brussels sprouts. It was very bizarre, especially when we were there last year. It was 35 degrees, 36 degrees that day. Really hot. And we were eating such rich, dense food. It was strange. I think I thought we would be, having prawn cocktail and barbecuing, but I suppose the family are quite traditional, and lots of Australians were English originally. There's also lots of Italians, Greeks, people of all nationalities out there. So European Christmas culture has probably influenced what they do quite a lot. Of course, there are other holidays happening around this time of year. We have seen Diwali taking place. That happened about a week or two ago. Diwali is also a very exciting time of year. It's the Festival of Light, is that what they call it? Lots of fireworks then as well. Now I want to add a bit of a star on top of my hat, but I'm not sure a light colour is really going to show up against Guys, so annoying. My camera decided to stop working. But I don't think you missed much. I just finished off some of the details, including the hat, the shoes, the earrings. It's pretty much finished now. But either way, I need to get my storage sorted on my camera. But I hope you liked that. I found it really fun and I would quite like to do them again. So if you liked it, do say. If not, and the quietness coming from my side throughout the whole thing was not entertaining enough for you, then do also say. But I think this one especially is looking great. This one is okay, but and I thought I would say it's a good thing that we put this piece of paper underneath, because it really did bleed through. So that's good. We protected this page underneath at least. slightly lost this page, but I'm doing a trip to another part of the UK in a couple of weeks on the train, and I was thinking I might bring this book and bring some colouring pencils and be like a little me and do some colouring on the train. How sweet is that? So I won't always be using these pens. But yes, let me know what you thought, and let me know if you have any designs that you think I should tackle. I also think if I continue to do a series around this book, I will do things like do some designs of my dream wedding dress, do some men's clothes designs. Thinking about my partner, I might do some sort of things for him. And just some general clothing that I could design myself rather than follow other people's designs. But yes, I hope you enjoyed it and have a great rest of your evening.